Why is someone
Sounds like it's working now.
Oh,
Is it good? I think it's working.
Mr. Russell.
Make sure you run forward.
Do the. Look, you be bait.
In the Atlantic Theater, but was better known for helping to take Japanese-held islands in the Pacific between 1943 and 1945. During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, the Alabama's state-of-the-art radar alerted the fleet to incoming aircraft, providing the Americans enough time to scramble fighters and decimate the attacking force. Later, the Alabama served during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and anchored in Tokyo Bay to unload Allied occupation forces. In 1964, the state of Alabama took possession of the battleship. Alabama schoolchildren raised $100,000 in nickels and dimes to help bring the ship to Mobile and create Battleship Memorial Park. The park features the Alabama, the World War II-era submarine USS Drum, and an American military aircraft collection. Battleship Memorial Park is one of the state's most visited attractions.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.
We are back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant. It is the Panther Pulse powered by Joseph Chambers, State Farm Insurance Agent, and Zapata Mexican Restaurant. Justin Foster, Braden George with you here, joined now by several of our Pelham Panther football players. We have Elijah Gillian and Jacob Bush, as well as Hunter Drawhorn. We start first with our offensive guys, Jacob and Elijah. Guys, how we doing?
Doing good. Great to be here,
Great to have you guys. Now, I do want to spend a couple minutes just kind of talking about what this season's been like coming in. You guys are the young guys, kind of learning as you go. What was that process like from week one to now as far as your growth?
It's been a good experience, good learning experience, learning from all the older guys and, taking on, teaching the young guys, just like they told us to do. And, it's just been a good experience, and, yeah, man, it's a good experience.
Yeah, it's definitely been a rough one. We've made some mistakes, but we're learning. I feel like we definitely have improved from where we started, and we're going to keep getting better.
So, from Pell City to, we'll go to Chilton County. I mean, obviously vast improvements on that offensive line. How has the game changed as far as what you guys are seeing? Has it slowed down? We hear about that, or maybe gotten less complicated than it seems on that first week?
I feel like we got more focused as we knew we were supposed to do on the field and stuff. Talking to the coaches, make sure we know what to do on the field, and just coming together as one, just getting the job done. Each week, try to get the job done. It's the mission, bro.
Yeah, studying that film plays a big part in those defensive fronts we're seeing, and just we work on that through practice, and we give it everything we got.
You can watch all the film in the world. When you get out and you're dealing with those seniors and the big guys up front, that can be an eye-opener. How was that? going into that first game, are there the nerves that you might have had in the first game? Was that the same feeling in Chilton County as Pell City?
Nah, I feel like over the course of the season, you just got used to it. Each game, feel like we got better each game. We just got used to it, and yeah, it was. I ain't gonna lie, it was a kind of little scary that first game because I didn't really know what I was doing. But as the season came on, coaches trusted us. I trusted the coach, and yeah, we just came together as one.
Yeah, that confidence builds after that first game, and like Elijah said, coach trusts us, we trust the coaches, and after that, the confidence just builds up after every game.
Obviously, speaking about confidence, you want to attack every day with the same business mindset, but how does it build confidence to be able to come into this game after a bye week, after your first win of the season? Does that really build up morale and make it a little bit more fun out there?
Yeah, I feel like over the off week, we built the game plan going to this next game. We know we're facing a good team, all-around good team. I feel like we're an all-around good team, so it's going to be a good matchup. We've been putting in that work the last 2 weeks, and I feel like it's going to be a good week for us.
Yeah, coming off that win has definitely gave us some confidence, and we know they're a good team, and we know we're a good team, and we're going to give it all we have on the field and let that do the talking for us.
So we got coach's perspective on the bye week. From you guys being in that first year of really being, key player starters on the team, how impactful was it to have a week off to kind of, reanalyze everything, reset, and get ready for this home stretch?
We got ourselves together after the win we got ourselves together, and I feel like we became more sound, know what we're doing, try to do everything perfect every play, and I feel like we became a little more better day by day.
Yeah, it also helped that we got kind of that little bit of that rest, but also studied some more film and just still going through the basics and kind of learning off of what we know.
Were you guys able to go watch some other games, or did you just kind of take that Friday night off to just relax?
I took that Friday off to just relax.
I went up to Marbury to watch them play.
Okay. Any connection to Marbury? Was it just?
I got a cousin who does cheerleading there and some family up in Prattville. So
there you go. Looking at Spain Park, number 4 team in the state. No doubt about it, we're going to be underdogs in this game. When y'all look at this, what is the recipe to upset the Jaguars?
Come out, be aggressive, just come out, just do what we can do. Yeah.
We need to probably fire off the ball, and that's what we plan to do. We gotta remember our assignments, our zones, our gap schemes, all that. And if we do, we're gonna be a good team, and we're gonna play hard, and we're gonna leave it all on the field for them.
So homecoming, a lot of distractions, a lot going on, which again the coaches surely love. But do you guys are y'all able to enjoy any aspect of that? Is there a favorite part of homecoming other than obviously the game?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on in homecoming and stuff. We really appreciate it, but we're just focused on winning this game this Friday and just bring home the diploma.
Yeah, we're mainly focused on the game, but it's nice also just have to have the school kind of rally behind us, giving us support and stuff. So that means a lot to us.
They're young, but they're well coached in the
great
media
PR.
game. That
Great
is
PR.
Great answers from both of y'all. Well, we'll switch gears and we'll hear from the veteran over here. We got Hunter Drawhorn joining us, and we will hear some defensive perspective from him. I do just want to start, Hunter. You've been over here kind of eyeing the guys. I feel like coaching without saying words about them being on the mic. How have you taken these younger guys under your wing and sort of played that leadership role with them throughout this year?
I mean, you just kind of got to take them by the side. Nothing too big. You don't got to embarrass them or anything like that, or just lead by example, if anything. I mean, you just seeing what other guys did and kind of what other older guys did when I was younger and modeling almost kind of what they did or seeing what they did bad, what they did good with, and using that.
Coach talked about the changes in the defense, and it's got to be a huge adjustment for all of y'all to do that after a couple of games. What has that been like for you, and how do you think the defense is adjusting?
I think those first couple of games were a little but I think this game we'll be able to play a full 4 quarters of Pelham football. I think we really haven't the past couple of games because everybody's still trying to get adjusted to it. But I think everybody's ready. I feel like everybody knows what they're doing, and I feel like we just got to come out and play hard and play fast.
What was the bye week like for the defensive side? I mean, you've been through this. You don't have the growing necessarily that the sophomores and the younger guys do. What was that bye week like for you?
It was great rest, to say the least. Took a lot of ice baths, a lot of rest, to say the least. Just trying to get my body back right and back how it feeling good.
You talked about being able to play a full 4 quarters of Pelham defense in this game, and you're going to have to. Spain Park, great weapons, Brock Bradley and wide receiver Corey Barber, who's averaging over 22 yards a catch. What is the coverage schemes, and how do you feel that the secondary is prepared for this game? Do you feel like they're ready to face that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got guys back there that I feel like that can cover anybody in the state. I mean, I feel like they can do it. I feel like our coaches have put the game plan around us to be able to do it, and I feel like we'll be able to stop them. We're just going to have to play hard and play fast.
Any other parts of homecoming? I know you're going to say the game. Is there anything about that you've been able to kind of soak up at your last time going through it?
I mean, the dress-up days, I would say, at school. We've done a couple of those, and then the parade. I really like the parade, going to see all the kids come out, watch us, come support us. Love talking to the kids and love seeing all of them out there.
Do you sense a different type of feel and energy in the stadium on these homecoming games when you know there's more people, you might see some familiar faces? You talked about the guys that you looked up to. Some of them might be at the game. Does it feel different from the sidelines?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely with if older guys are coming to watch and they'll be there, that's definitely a big impact. I mean, that gets you a little nervous, if anything. But, I mean, it is with all those people there and everything like that. Everybody, all eyes are on you at that point. So it is a little nerve-wracking, to say the least.
It should be a good one. Number 4, Spain Park, undefeated, coming onto the hill for a big matchup on homecoming. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck Friday. Looking forward to another great game. We will take a break here from Zapata. When we come back, we will switch gears to talk all things strength and conditioning. Coach Gibbons is here from the weight room to talk all about that. That is coming up on the Panther Pulse, powered by Joseph Chambers and Zapata Mexican Restaurant, right back after this.
One might be tempted to say, "Excuse me, Mr. Grill Man, there appears to be a little extra burger on my burger." You're dang right there is. Everybody goes to Milo's.
That's why the Alabama Department of Labor and the Alabama Career Center system is here to help you discover bigger opportunities than ever before. Visit your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, ETA, and Federal WIOA, and Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
We are back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant. It is the Panther Pulse, powered by Joseph Chambers and Zapata Mexican Restaurant. Joining us now is strength and conditioning coach for Pelham City Schools, Coach Eric Gibbons. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing great, and great to have you with us. And you know, this is your first year just taking this over where you're running the show. I do just want to take a minute to kind of talk about what your philosophies are as far as working with such a diverse group of athletes.
Oh, definitely. It's a daily challenge. It's very enjoyable. It's all about the process. I'm kind of a tier system guy. It's all about movement. You want to challenge them enough. You want to be consistent enough, but innovative enough that you challenge and make it all about competition. The weight room, you can't fake it. So the gains, the way they work, you're going to have results. And so it's a very enjoyable process. And I couldn't do it without all of our coaches, our assistants. We got an assistant, Coach Ashcraft and Coach Amy Cook, that helped me a lot, and all the head coaches and assistant coaches, and make it very enjoyable.
My favorite parts of weightlifting in high school was the competition, was sort of that united team building type of feel. What does that look like day to day in your program, that competition in the weight room?
Yeah, so try to be consistent enough. Again, whenever we see them, we want to kind of have them expect what to expect. So when they come in here, we'll do dynamic movement and just get them being efficient with their movement mechanics, all that. Then we'll go into a core workout where we kind of work the abdominal, the midsection, everything below the neck to the knee, and everything in between. And then we go into our core list for the day, and we kind of do a 3-tier system where we start out with toe body movements into upper body movements, and then finish with lower body movements. And then we finish with blitzes within the team. So it could be like, just halfway hang pull up. It could be, walk the weight room with shrugs, a push-up competition, dot walks, lunge competition, squat jumps. And then we test every 6 weeks so they can kind of hopefully see their improvement and where they're at.
How did you want to improve, not necessarily improve, but just build on what this program was coming in, and how do you feel you've been able to do that so far this season?
Well, again, it's a process. I think the biggest thing is the approach to the weight room. And again, you have some athletes that they shy away from it and they don't know much about it, and usually that's what it is. It's just inexperience. But that's the great thing about it, is when they start to see the results, and everyone can have results in there. And when you get that culture created within the team, and that they're buying in and pushing each other to their limits, that's when it kind of takes care of itself. And all you can do is really be a buffer and be an extension of their voice and be a support system for them.
So walk us through your normal day. I mean, you told us about what a workout itself looks like. What is that schedule like from you in seeing all these different teams?
So it's athletes all day long. So it's we start out at 6:30 in the morning. We have our football, basketball, and wrestling team come in there, and we're very fortunate. If you haven't seen the field house, it's one of the best facilities in the state of Alabama. A lot of pride. Pelham's done a great job in committing to development of young athletes, and just all from academics, athletics, and all of our extracurriculars. It's top tier. So get there at 6:30. We have our wrestling, basketball, and football begin. Then I'll go to my second period class, and then we have like all our female JV young cheerleaders, soccer, track. We have a roller derby girl in there that she's fun to work with, and then we have our JV soccer, track, and some band in our third period. I head down with all the incoming freshman males for fourth period, and then we do programming with the assistant coaches, and then we finish the day with all our athletes. So I see every athlete at least 2 days a week, if not 3 days a week.
What is the relationship like with the coaches, and as far as them setting goals, what they want to see? We've talked, to Coach Vickery about the evolution of the linemen and all these different players. What is that relationship like working with those coaches?
Oh, that's the biggest thing I think about it all. You want to have a foundation, you want to have standards, and if you don't have coaches on board with you buying into what you're doing, you have no chance. And then at the end of the day, I couldn't do it without them, and that's all I am. I'm an extension of them and what they want. And the more communication that we have, the more we can maximize our athletes and our programs.
You're a really positive guy. Every time I see you, you're saying hello, talking to everybody. What does that look like with the athletes? Because I know what it looks like with the other adults in the building. What does that look like with your athletes?
Yes, sir. It depends probably on the athlete. That's probably a very subjective question. You try to be positive and you want to have relationships with all your athletes, but you got to be transparent and you got to be authentic, because they'll see through it if you're not. But there's a time to be authentic and let's work together, and then there's a time to I have usually anywhere from 40 to about 75 athletes on the field, so are on the floor at one time. So there is a little bit of yelling, but it isn't coming at anyone or anything like that. So that's just the way we communicate. And sometimes, the weight room is good to have a little bit of chaos in there. So hopefully, everything that we do in the weight room should correlate to their field of play.
Well, you shouldn't be happy. You need to get a little mad at the weights. It's going to help with that performance.
I like how you touched on the relationship with the student athletes. Just how impactful and gratifying is it to be able to build those relationships with your athletes and see them develop from your standpoint?
Oh, it's probably the most rewarding thing outside of being a dad and a husband, just to see kids grow and reach their potential. I mean, that's what we're in the industry of, that's why I love it. It's not about an end result. It's not about them being great athletes. It's about them being better humans, better people, better teammates, better family members, setting goals for themselves. And just when you see them, that's my favorite part of it, is when I have an athlete that calls me when they're walking down the aisle or having their first baby or there's nothing more fulfilling than that. They're your kids, so.
What makes Pelham so special? I know we talk about it all the time. What have you noticed in your time that separates Pelham from other places?
People always make a place, and the one thing I've been blown away is just the amount of support from top down, and just really all the assistant coaches. If I ask for something, they'll all go above and beyond to get it done, and just to have that kind of support system, it goes a long way.
I've seen this in the classroom, but I want to know from your vantage point, is there a stretch of time where you see the most growth from kids at the high school level?
Yeah, usually, I always try to do everything we do is kind of like a growing. You got to be able to crawl before you can walk and whatnot. So everything we do is progression-based. So really that first 8th and 9th grade year is all about the teaching, the mechanics, the techniques, because nothing's more frustrating as a strength coach when you get strong athletes that have poor technique. Then you're correcting, and there's colleges, even at the college level when I was there, that we would use a year or two just to correct the movement pattern. So we were try to be very technically sound in what we do. So really, if we can build that base from 8th to 9th grade, the sky's the limit. But usually that junior year there's a lot of games, and that's when it really gets fun.
It's the guys you see after the summer, you come in, it's like, wait, who's this kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be exciting for me, is we're going to start taking some like before and after testing, so like fall pictures, spring pictures, just of body types, with shirts on, just so they can see. I just think that'd be so cool for every athlete to see from the time they enter as freshmen to the time they mature as seniors.
Well, and we've got a lot of sophomores on this football team, so if that holds true by junior year, look out.
There we go. Yes,
Coach,
sir.
we appreciate you joining us and all the great work you're doing with all of our athletes and all the people in Pelham.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right, we'll take a break and turn our attention to wrestling. Coach Strickland is here, several of his wrestlers as well. It is the Panther Pulse, powered by Joseph Chambers of State Farm Insurance and Zapata Mexican Restaurant, right back on 93.3 The River and YouTube right after this.
State Farm Insurance agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff.
And delicious Mexican dishes to choose from. There's something for everyone, from salads to steak fajitas to chicken fingers. They also have excellent vegetarian options and a kid-friendly menu. Zapata Mexican Restaurant, where Valleydale meets Highway 31 in Pelham.
He went without food, not to lose weight, but to help people lose generations of hate. While many around him rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. When others used religion as an excuse for war, he used it to remind them of love. Mahatma Gandhi made the world a far better place by reaching out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on. from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
We are back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant. It is the Panther Polls powered by Joseph Chambers of State Farm Insurance and Zapata Mexican Restaurant. Special Tuesday edition here with homecoming festivities, late start and earlier in the week. So thanks to all of you tuning in. Joined now by Coach Bill Strickland of PHS Wrestling. We got Amir Hasty and Sam Powell as well. That is several of Coach's wrestlers. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing great. And we'll just dive right in and just want to get sort of your feel on this group of guys that you have this year. What are your impressions so far, what you have?
Yeah, we got a solid group of a solid mix of young guys and older guys. This is probably our smallest senior class we've had in a few years. Trey Peeler moved out to Florida, and then we had a few just drop off along the way. But we got 3 seniors this year, but a solid group of juniors and a couple of sophomores that are some studs for us. And then 16 freshmen, which is our biggest freshman class we've ever had. So that's encouraging. We'll have a real JV team, a deep JV team this year. We have more JV tournaments and events on the calendar than we've ever had. So developing those young guys is going to be pretty critical, kind of following this year and then going into the future. But we had our biggest middle school team last year. We're just growing, man. It's really encouraging. So we're going in the right direction. It's just feeding the beast, honestly.
How does it change the dynamic to have such a small senior group and to have a lot of those younger guys?
Sam and Amir have been starters for us since freshmen. So, they're very familiar with the scene. They're familiar with the state tournament. They're familiar with the dynamic of what it takes to win and get on the podium. So, we'll lean heavy on our junior class. Bo Martin's going to be our senior that's kind of leading the charge as far as the senior class, but that mix of juniors and seniors, and then Patrick Warner, one of our sophomores, he's been with us since his 8th grade year. So there's a lot of, we're not senior heavy, but there's a lot of experience to go around between the guys that we do have on the squad.
You made mention of the events and tournaments and things coming up. What kind of goes into the process of scheduling those, and what are some of those you're excited about this year?
Yeah, so my first year here, I inherited a schedule that I just went in, immediately changed, just seeing the first few summer practices, because we weren't ready for the schedule that they just routinely went to. We needed to go to some tournaments that were more geared towards development and confidence building. But as the years have gone by, we've kind of geared our schedule more towards challenging with a mix of development, right? So it's hitting your stride at the right mark. Our home tournament this year it will be the toughest and biggest tournament we've ever had. So our home tournament, the Pelham Invitational, it's the last school weekend of December, the last weekend before Christmas. We have 25 teams coming, 4 from out of state, and 8 of the top 10 returning 6A teams will be there. So I told those guys that, when we started school back, I'm like, by the way, you might not place in our own tournament. So they're ready for the challenge. They've been putting in a lot of work. We go 5 mornings a week. But we build that calendar for a reason, for development purposes for our JV squad and our younger guys, but also to challenge our older guys like Sam and Amir.
How big is that to bring in all those teams? You mentioned the growth and that you guys are really exploding in the numbers. How big is it to have a tournament like that on campus that you can kind of tout as a cornerstone of the program? Yeah, so when I first got here, we didn't have enough mats to host a 25-team tournament. And so that's a big tournament, testament to our number one, our booster club, our parents, all the effort they put in the fundraising. And then number 2, Pelham City Schools. Miss Keel and Coach Simpson too. But Miss Keel has been phenomenal as far as whatever I ask her, as long as it's not terribly out of bounds. She has told me no a time or two, but she tells me yes way more than she tells me no.
but she bought us new mats to kind of help us configure putting 5 mats down instead of just 4, which, for those not familiar with wrestling, putting another mat down, it just speeds up your tournament and allows you to grow it. It's like having another soccer field or something, right? You can go faster. And so having that dynamic, and then obviously the numbers on our team help us grow that dynamic as well, because it's all hands on deck. 25 teams, that's a lot of people, and so you need everyone to man concessions and the gate and the tables and rolling up mats, fixing up things like taking out trash. Hey, keep an eye on the bathrooms in case we need more toilet paper. Like, it's all hands on deck. And years past, I've always had to run the tournament myself, and so I've always had to rely on our assistant coaches and our older guys to, hey, help keep an eye on Johnny when he goes on the mat. Like, I might not be there immediately, but like, just help me coach him and keep him in the right direction. But we brought on another staff member at the middle school, Eric Pollard, and he is actually a big, I don't want to say exact, but like, he's a big wig on this software that calls Track Wrestling. He essentially runs the Big 12 wrestling tournament for college. So he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's kind of taking over running all of our tournaments, handling a lot of the paperwork stuff, so that takes a load off me. Kind of like, what V does for you, this year, like just bringing in help, right, so you can kind of focus on what you need to focus on.
And good help.
Good help, exactly.
People that know what they're doing and can add to what you're doing. I've noticed that wrestling has really grown in the South. We're used to, Iowa, Midwestern kind of sport. It's really grown in the past couple of years in the South. How do you raise awareness to the kids that may not have been exposed? Because, quite frankly, until I came to some of y'all's meets and matches, wasn't really familiar, but it's a very watchable sport. It's very entertaining. How do you reach those kids that just don't know what they're missing?
Yeah, I mean, I think social media is one, and then I've kind of talked to Coach Simpson about tapping into some to some highlight reels if we can do that on the TVs that are on display in the school. But I think social media, that, and then maybe tapping into the Happening on the Hill maybe, or Pelham Productions, golly, what do y'all put out on Fridays?
Panther Playback.
Panther Playback, thank you, sorry. So the Panther Playback, just tapping in some, hey, here's some highlights from last week's tournament or whatever, just great, raising awareness. But it's the South is not, we don't have the depth as, Big Ten country, but we do have a lot of studs. For example, one of our former state champions, Rafael Hippolito, like, he's a starter at Virginia Tech now. He's a D1 wrestler, ranked number 29 in the country. So we do have studs here and there. We're lacking the depth, but it's growing, man. It's growing really fast.
Well, let's hear from some of you guys here. We got Amir and Sam joining us. And I do just want to, get the player perspective. What are you guys seeing from this group here? A lot of young guys. What's it like from y'all's perspective?
It's different. You have to learn, as we're younger and we don't have much of a heavy senior-oriented group, to be a leader and speak up and be more vocal and set a good example for all the young guys, since we have a very freshman-heavy team, and just lead by example and put in all the hard work.
It's the same for me, honestly. I enjoy leading the team because I feel like I've been part of this program pretty long, and I put in the work to help lead the team.
So I got to start here. When Coach made mention of the home tournament with 25 teams, I noticed the eyes get really wide. What, just kind of your initial thoughts, y'all's initial thoughts hearing about that?
Yeah,
How do you feel about the schedule?
I'm not wrestling in that.
Yeah, for us, that'd be the biggest tournament that we've hosted. That's pretty big for us.
That's going to take a long time.
How big is that, though, for Pelham Wrestling to be able to host something like that?
It's very big. We've only had like 18 teams, I think, maybe max. It's going to be really slow, but it'll be a fun tournament.
We talked to Coach about appealing to people who don't really know what y'all do, don't know how exciting wrestling can be. What got you guys into it?
I don't know. He talked me into it at football my 7th grade year, and he just kept asking me to come out to practice. And so I went out to one practice, and I just fell in love with the sport.
To be honest, I completely forgot how I started. One day, I just remember waking up, going to wrestling practice, and next thing I knew, I was in love with it.
So what are you guys' personal goals and maybe some goals you have for the team, what you'd like to see this year?
I want to see us place top 5 in the state. I think that'd be pretty good for us, getting a trophy on the wall for as a team.
Yeah, I think the team goal should be to place as a state team and work hard as a team and grow. And then state placer, or I already was, so I want to win it.
And what's your message to your classmates to come out and support and come see what you guys do? Get it loud at Pelham High School.
It's not going to hurt coming to see peers compete. You know, so might as well do it.
Yeah, come out, watch, and maybe you can fall in love with the sport as well.
There you go. There you go. Appreciate you guys joining us. And when's the season start? Let's go on and tell folks that.
November 15th is Green and Gold, and November 19th is our first duel.
There we go. So coming right up, November 15th. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and we will close things out with Coach Vic after the break. It is Panther Pulse, powered by Joseph Chambers of State Farm Insurance and Zapata Mexican Restaurant, right back on 93.3 The River and YouTube right after this.
State Farm Insurance agent Joseph Chambers is a proud supporter of 93.3 The River and all things Pelham. Joseph and his staff can take care of your home and auto insurance needs as well as life insurance. State Farm was recently ranked #1 by J.D. Power and Associates for life insurance customer satisfaction. Joseph's office is located in the Canyon Park Office Center. His number is 205-663-3276. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are back here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant. It is the Panther Pulse, powered by Joseph Chambers of State Farm Insurance and Zapata Mexican Restaurant. I want to thank Coach Strickland, Coach Gibbons for stopping by, all of our players as well in what has been a great show, homecoming edition of the Panther Pulse. And Coach Vic is back with us. And Coach, the first question I do want to ask is about homecoming. How does it affect your state of mind? Are there distractions? Is that something you traditionally have to worry about with your players?
Not really. Not really. You want kids to have enjoy. I mean, this isn't. Be careful what I say. Coach Dilfer got in trouble saying this isn't something. But it's still high school football. You want kids to enjoy it. You want them to enjoy the experience. So you want them to be able to participate in all that stuff. There's. I think I've been a part of staffs and been around coaches who. They didn't like kids. They'd go into pep rallies. They couldn't talk. Get off your feet and all those things. At the end of the day, they're still kids. You want them to enjoy their time, enjoy their friends, enjoy the festivities. But obviously, you had to dial back a little bit and make sure you limit the distractions. When it's time to work, it's time to work. But it doesn't affect us too much. It affects our practice schedule just a little bit because of parades in the afternoon and some things like that. But there are things that we adjust to, and we're excited to be a part of a community that goes all in and enjoys that experience with all the different games throughout the week with different grade levels and kickball and volleyball and powder puff and then community pep rallies with kids of all ages out there. So it's a fun community to be a part of for sure.
Do you think it can backfire for a coach to just say basically no fun at all, don't block it out? Do you think that can backfire, that kids are kind of going to go their own way when you don't have eyes on them?
Yeah, well that's I don't know if it backfires. Look, there's always great there's great coaches that have done it all different ways and been successful doing it. You've seen contrasting styles that we talked about it last week at Alabama. Just the the differences in those two head coaches, the last two head coaches at Alabama, and still there'll be a ton of success. You can win, you can be successful, you can turn out kids that are integral parts of communities, good people, good kids, and still do it a bunch of different ways, and be able to instill discipline and instill the things that needs to be instilled within kids, and do it your way, and for don't try to be someone you're not. For me, I'm never going to be that guy that takes the fun out of everything. Just enjoy it, have fun. It's part of the process. It's part of being a kid, part of being part of a community that supports our program, so go have fun, and again, when it's time to work, let's go to work.
I asked the players about the energy in the stadium for a homecoming game. Is that something you notice a difference? I mean, we have all the extra festivities. There's a lot more people in the building that may normally not be there. Is that something you can feel coaching as well?
Well, big crowds at home games are always fun. I mean, it's a so the more people we have there with the band performs after the game. So a lot of those parents are there a little bit longer. So the crowds stay longer. Playing a really good opponent from across town, they'll have a big crowd. So there'll be a ton of energy out there, and we've had good crowds. Had some weather the last couple of home games, but still had some good crowds there, and I expect there to be a big crowd this week with a ton of energy as well.
Coach, kind of shifting gears, looking at Spain Park themselves, really good team, obviously. Just made mention of it earlier, underdogs coming into this one. Spain Park has allowed early in the season, especially teams, to stay in it and really fight back in the second half. What's your message to your team that even if they get down a little early, this game's not over, just keep fighting?
Well, Spain Park, they have a very talented football team, and they've been able to win every game they played. Like you said, they're playing in some close games throughout the first month and a half of the season. So for us, it's about continuing to get better offensively, get them off the field on defense. Where they have really been tough is just being able to run the football against everyone that they played, and with a quarterback who makes really good decisions. So they're able to extend drives. They're big up front on both sides of the football. So they've been able to stop the run, and they've been able to run the football. And part of that, part of those close games, in my opinion, is because there haven't been a huge big play necessarily offense. They drive the football. They run a lot of play action stuff. Get guys involved in different ways, from a running back catching balls out of the backfield to a couple wideouts that are making big plays. But they want to run it, and they want to stop the run. And so I think the games have been a little bit closer because of that. There's been fewer possessions when that happens, and throughout the game. So we're going to go out. We got to hit big plays. We got to put them in a position to where they're uncomfortable. Not playing to their strengths on both sides, and hey, we're going to go out and battle every possession.
What kind of balance defensively we're going to have when they want to run the football, they want to be run heavy, but you also got the 4 or 5 star, depending on who you're asking, quarterback Brock Bradley wheeling and dealing, passing the ball.
Well, in my opinion, you really have no chance to stop them if you don't focus on getting them in a situation with heavy boxes, stopping the run. You have to make them throw it to beat you, and they're very capable of that. But you have no. They've got 2 running backs that are as good as anybody that will play, in my opinion. Outside of maybe Parker High School, the best 2 running backs combo duo in the Birmingham metro area for sure, and they can really go. Big physical guys that will just pound you, and you have to stop that first. You got to make them throw it, and again, they're capable of doing it, but at least getting the ball in the air, a lot more things can happen than if they're just able to run it every play down your throat.
So offensively for us, what do you look at as the keys to spring the upset here?
Well, the biggest defensive line that we played all year. And they're really talented up front. They lost 2 defensive linemen to Thompson, who are Division I players at Thompson, but they still have 4 guys that are that really big kids and play very very big. So you got to figure out a way to block those guys, to hold your own against them. You're not going to move them. We're not going to move those guys, but we got to be able to stalemate those guys, at least keep them where they are. And we got to get the ball in space, out, away from those guys as much as we can. And we've got good athletes playing better on the perimeter, and we got to take advantage of our perimeter run game and throw game.
And defensively, we talked about Spain Park for us. What guys are you looking to step up and set the tone for us?
Well, we want to continue to get our wideouts involved. We see T.J. Copeland playing a little bit more offense back on that side, and just trying to get some explosives within in our offense in different spots. We'll talk about him here in a couple of weeks, but Ben Russell played them, and they had one guy that had 29 targets in that game. We've got to be able to not let them focus on one guy, get the ball spread it out to a bunch of different people offensively, and then defensively we got to continue to get better tackling. And that's the biggest key. If we can tackle, if we can get the running backs on the ground and make them drive the football, we'll have a chance to get them off the field and then get our offense on to see if we can continue to score a lot of points.
I know your daughter Brenna is up for homecoming queen. Are you going to be able to be out for that announcement, or how are you going to manage that moment?
Yeah, I think it should be interesting. So we'll be changing clothes very quickly, and walking across the field at halftime, probably with the headset still on, talking to the offensive coaches a little bit, and then. But it's a cool experience, and it's been awesome for her, and coming into a new school, and so many people that have made that transition really easy for her. So she's excited about it. We're excited about it. So we'll be out there, hopefully with a big 3-score lead at halftime. That'll be even better.
Well, either way, regardless, enjoy that moment, soak it up, because. Doesn't happen for everybody, and very deserving of Brenna.
Yeah, absolutely. She's done a great job, and very very fortunate to have good, healthy kids that are for the most part do what they're supposed to do.
Well, that's any of them, I think. Yeah. None of them are going to be perfect at that age, for sure. That will do it for us here at Zapata Mexican Restaurant. Again, you can listen to the Panthers and Spain Park right here on 93.3 The River. Coverage begins at 6:30 for all our pregame festivities. We will have the game at 7 o'clock. You can also watch it on NFHS. Coach, as always, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys for always doing this, and another good turnout. Great to be at Zapatas.
Thanks to all of our guests. Braden, anything before we get out of here?
Man, I'm ready for a good week and good show next week. We'll be back regular time next week, and it's going to be fun.
We celebrate a big homecoming
win.
Win. For our director, Aiden Massey, for our engineer, Robbie Esquivel, for Braden George, I am Justin Foster. Good night, and as always, go Panthers.
I'm Joseph Chambers, your local State Farm agent here in Pelham since 2017. We're proud to be supporters of Pelham High Athletics. When I was younger, I loved playing youth sports and being a part of my high school team, and I wanted to give back to this year's team and support any way I could. Me and my team want to help you and your family, regardless of where you may be in life. We can help you with auto, home, life, retirement planning, and so much more. Stop by our office to see what we can do for you. Let's go Panthers. Go get 'em.